joining me on this beautiful afternoon. So just give it a minute, let everybody connect. Yeah, excellent. Welcome, guys. Okay, so today we have a very interesting couple of topics that I want to cover. And so I did get some questions, but the star people actually came in and they gave me a couple topics that a lot of individuals on the planet may be dealing with issues similar to what the topics are. And so they said that they wanted us to focus on that. So before we get into all of that, oh, okay. That's okay. Okay, before we get into all that, I just wanted to show you guys. We are doing the crystal giveaway packages. And so that's where we've had some people donate crystals to us, and then we get to re-gift them to all the people who get the package boxes. And so during that process, we're actually we're putting in extra gifts and extra crystals. And so the reason that I wanted to start this was because I noticed that a lot of my crystals were just sitting around my home. And so I wanted to figure out a way to cover the shipping costs where I could donate all my crystals to you guys. And so I just want to show some of the really cool things that I got. And like, I love them. I want to keep all of them, but these are for the crystal boxes. So like, yeah, we have crystal chakra wands and like sage, like different colors. So Palo Santos, that's amazing. One lucky individual is actually going to get the alien keychain. And so they only have one of those. So everyone wants this one. So we've all been talking and laughing all day. Yeah. And so we do have crystal pendulums, different stones, bracelets, necklaces, and then crystal trees, which was funny because this is actually going to be one of our topics today. And we are also enclosing different affirmation cards per package. So today I am glowing was the one that I pulled for this video. And so today I have huge amounts of energy and focus to take on any challenge. And so I think that this is really cool because even if you take the affirmation card and you thumbtack it up on your wall and you see it every day, it's going to actually start to change your brainwave patterning, which then in turn is going to allow you to fire off at a higher frequency. And so, yeah, it's just beautiful. And it really sinks into the subconscious mind when you start filling your entire environment with positive affirmations, or let's say bright, vibrant colors, because the colors that we see and we interact with, it actually has an effect on the human form. And so think about when children are learning and growing when they're toddlers, all of their toys are brightly colored, right? And so when we go out into nature, we see a lot of bright colors in the flowers, the trees, all of these things. And so this is how we're meant to be engaging with the physical reality. We're meant to be engaging in vibrant types of colors because it actually activates different emotional frequencies inside of us. And so one such example of that would be, take McDonald's for an example. The star people are stepping forward and they're saying, yellow and orange. Now, when you visually see yellow and orange, it's triggering your root chakra and your solar plexus chakra. So your mind understands that we absorb energetic from the sun. And so they're saying the sun gives you energy, vitamins, minerals, nutrients. And so your body understands this automatically. You don't have to know it to understand it. It's like a intuition, they're saying. And so when you see red and yellow is absorbing nutrients or pulling in. That's why it's inside the belly button. It's pulling in life force energy, which is how each and every one of us started in the womb, pulling our energy, our life force energy through the belly button. And so, but when you see the color red, now that color red is survival. And so we know that we have to eat in order to survive. Hi everyone. Welcome. And so when we see the color red, we know that that's like a survival. So the traffic lights are red, that means you need to stop, right? And so it prompts something inside of us that we know red can potentially mean danger or survival, specifically survival, they're saying. And so when you see the color combination of red with yellow, right? How do those colors make you feel? Because everything is an emotion code. So if just by utilizing the colors red and yellow can trigger us into wanting to eat more, because we are pulling nutrients in and we are in survival with those two colors. And so it makes you want to be triggered to eat more food. And so this is subliminal messaging. And so many people know this that work in advertising. They know how colors affect us. There's a reason that Christmas is green and red. And so red is the root chakra. So survival, you need physical items to survive. You need a house, you need a car, you need technology, you need all of these things, right? But then the heart chakra is also being called upon for Christmas. And so you open your heart. It's all about giving. And so when you put the two colors together, you're giving physical items, right? And so now we can kind of see how things are, they're basically being advertised to us. And so on so many different levels, and it goes down to every single holiday. And so when you become aware of this and you start seeing through it and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm aware. And once you're aware, it actually shifts your perception. So yeah, knowledge is power. And each and every one of you, I encourage to be knowledgeable and do your research, right? And so don't take anything, any information in your life. You should be taking control of the information and researching it. And so the star people are stepping forward saying, when you seek knowledge, knowledge will be gifted to you. But you have to be the one to seek it. It's not just going to fall in your lap. The signs and synchronicities may play out to give you the opportunity to explore that timeline of coming into that knowledge, but you have to be the one to unfold and unpack the information. And so that's just the way the holographic simulation works. You have to engage, and when you engage, where you put your focus to expands. And so we can see this with the physics as well, because the physics on the planet, in the whole solar system, they're saying, shows us that every single item in the physical reality, be it a plant, a person, a pen, anything, it's either under a frequency wave or it's in the state of a particle. And so a particle is when a human being is placing the conscious focus on it. Everything, the atoms, molecules, all of that becomes a particle. And so when it becomes a wave, it's actually going back into the Earth's frequency wave, which is the Schumann resonance. And so the Schumann resonance, one such example would be to look at an abandoned house. Now, let's say you have two houses. One house is loved. The owners are taking a year vacation. They're going to Paris, right? But they're still leaving their house kind of abandoned because it's just sitting there chilling for a year. Now you have a second house. There was nothing wrong with either one of the houses in the beginning of this. The second house, the people got evicted, and then all of a sudden it got left standing there for a year as well. And so over that course of a year, the people who are on vacation, they still love their house. So it's still running in the back of their psyche. So that is still a particle because it's still aware. It's mine. I love it. Right. So all that energy gets projected onto the house. The house that was abandoned, nobody is placing their focus on it. It turns it back into a wave. Now, Mother Earth and the Schumann resonance, the star people are saying the Schumann resonance is what determines the life or death cycles. That's what that wave is utilized for. So if you start to see something that nobody is placing their love or focus on, you'll notice that Mother Earth starts to take it back. And so you may see vines growing up the house. You may see a process of deterioration happening to the house. Many times we see this with abandoned houses. The frequency will drop significantly, rapidly, because no one loves the house. No one is paying attention or focus to it. And so when that happens, you may see people, homeless people start to living in the house, and it starts to drop in the frequency. Drug use may happen in the house. And then all of a sudden the lawn is overgrown. The universe is trying to take it back. Now, the first house where the people are on vacation, right? So their house, it probably still looks amazing. And so there's many times when people leave and their lawn only grows a tiny bit. In an abandoned house, the lawn will grow up to your waist. And so just be aware of these things, because when you start to notice the signs and synchronicities, you start to put the pieces together. And that's the most important thing, is that we learn how the hologram works, how we can get a response from it. So every single thing that you see in the physical reality is actually a mirror of what energetic frequency that each and every one of you are holding inside your physical form. And so let's break that down. So what frequency that you are holding reflects. And so the way that this works is your energy comes in, it radiates out, and it comes back in. When it comes back in, it's actually forming the holographic simulation, but it shows you a sacred geometric snowflake. And so that means that that energy, that process is forming the physical reality. And now we just touched on this the other day. Let's take, for an example, someone who's an orchestra director, right? They have a magic wand. They're going like this. And that's how the energy goes. It goes out and it comes in. It's the same exact thing. There's a reason why we see that reflected. That's another reflection. And so there's a reason that he's using a wand, a piece of wood too, because a wood can amplify energetics. This is the reason why we have trees. Trees takes the Schumann resonance and it beams it all the way up into the upper atmosphere, and it has a direct impact on the human consciousness grids, they are saying. And so when you know all this information, you start to put it together, it broadens your horizon or opens your perception to such an ability that you start to see through the matrix, is what I'm talking about. Because when you know this, then all of a sudden you know that the way to heal the planet, the way to heal your local environment is by, one, you have to focus on yourself, because your frequency is making instantaneous timeline shifts, and it's changing the external reality that each and every one of us sees. And so me personally, I've seen this. So I've been in locations where it was a toxic environment. So I'm not going to mention where, but it was not, I did not belong there. And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a cop comes, pulls me over, and he's like, you don't belong here. And so he took me back to safety. And so that was when I was a kid, 18, 20. Now, when you're not in a frequency match with a particular environment, the universe will move you back into a higher frequency location. And so it is a reflection of what you see, right? So when you know that, then all of a sudden you can change or modify the frequency inside of you so that you're always in the right place at the right time to only experience higher frequencies. Now, me personally, these days, I notice that if there's going to be drama or chaos, let's say any drama or chaos anywhere, right? I'll always be 2 steps out the door on my way to do something fun. And I will always miss the drama and chaos. And so when you come in and you start to really hold higher frequencies and you love every single experience, no matter how toxic they are, because if you are having an experience of toxicity, that is because you are meant to learn something. And so we just had an experience the other night on the Zoom where, you know, we experienced something that was a lower frequency and everybody on the Zoom felt it right away. And so, you know, so how are you going to respond with the toxicity is the question that the star people are stepping forward on. Because when you're around someone who is of a lower vibrational nature, are you running away? Or are you sitting there and giving your heart to the situation? Do you run away from the homeless because they may smell bad? Or are you casting love and light at them? And so I encourage each and every one of you to not be scared. Don't be scared, because when you cast love and light, a form of protection washes over you and it puts you in the right place so that you cannot be interfered with. And so that's very, very important, because a lot of people, especially during, 2020, they were afraid to give people hugs. And so I was still hugging the homeless people at the 7-Eleven and people looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like, I'm not scared. It was just a natural intuition to give them a hug. And so, that's how much you each have the potential to shine your heart, and yeah, it's just amazing. Okay. Hi, everyone. Do you guys you can't hear me? I'm here, Ann. Everyone on Facebook, if you can hear me, just do, what is it? A like, maybe? Just hit the like button so I can hear, or send a message. There's a comment box. Just send a message saying that you can hear. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Excellent. So, okay, let me take a sip. Okay, good. So you guys can hear me. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So the next question, the blood has been coming up. So blood, when we remove blood from our biological form, I didn't really want to talk about this. And so, but they kept bringing it up. And then I noticed when I woke up this morning, I had a tiny bit of blood in my nose. And when I blew my nose. So it's something that a lot of people are going through, because the second I posted up the bloodletting download that I got, all of a sudden everyone started sending me messages and they're going through it and they're going through it. So there's always a reason that the star people are giving me a particular type of information at a certain time. It's because it can help a wide variety of people. So blood and bodily signs, right? So hand lines, for an example, everybody has lines on your hand. And so palm reading, they can show you exactly what the lines mean. This goes about 10 steps deeper, though. That's only the beginning of the gift. And so each line, you can actually have cracks, right? So right now my skin is cracked. It's been itching. And that's because it's a change or a shift in my vibratory frequency, which is allowing different energies to change the timeline I'm on. And so when you notice, because one of my lines, the money line, it actually cracked. It had a spot of blood in it. And then the line became longer. right? So what happened? You release the karma, or you're releasing the emotions to not having that amount of abundance because you are releasing blood from the body. It released that energy and it's allowing it to recode itself to a higher frequency. And so that's only one line. We have health lines, we have marriage lines, we have children lines, we have all sorts of lines. And so when you start changing your biological frequency, the lines on your hands and your feet will shift. Now, I also had calluses on the bottom of my feet. When I started to go through the emotional unpacking and healing, the calluses healed on their own. And meanwhile, I was spending all this money year after year after year, putting lotions and, all this stuff. So they healed on their own when I dealt with the emotions. Okay. Now, I want you to also think about face wrinkles. And so many times we have been told that that's just a sign of old age. That's not true. And so we scientifically can see this now as well. Because when someone is holding on to certain wrinkles on the face, those are emotional codes that are in their biological form. And so when they start to unpack the emotion codes, each wrinkle is a different emotion. And so when they start to unpack, the wrinkles can disappear in one session. That's how quickly that works. So we are capable of anti-aging the human form. They've done scientific studies that showed when people meditate for about 8 hours and then they draw their blood, then all of a sudden there's an anti-aging effect that takes place automatically. And so now imagine if they were using their zone of perception, right? So you're not utilizing a wave, you're utilizing a particle, utilizing your perception to look inside your body and to send love and light and to heal it. So when people start to do that, you can feel inside your body. So you can feel your kidneys, you can feel your stomach, you can imagine every single body part, and that body part will squeeze or tension or tighten because it's showing you, hey, here I am, right? I want your attention too. And so you could feel your blood. This is a reason we could feel our heartbeat. You could feel it in your neck. You could feel it in your wrists. You could feel it in your legs. You could feel it in the temples. And so these are different spots where you can feel into, and you can ask the body to show you a sign or synchronicity. So the star people are saying, if you hold your hands like this and you are telling your body, show me my heart rate and show me any imbalances. If you have an imbalance on one of the sides, like say it's the carotid arteries or something, then it will pulse and you will actually feel it, kind of like muscle testing. That's what the star people are saying. So by paying attention to the way your physical form feels is going to give you the signs and synchronicities to be able to look inside and start to send love and light to yourself first, because you have to heal yourself first in order to heal things around you. And that's also the way the energetics flow into the physical form and then the external reality. And so it always comes first in your body, and then the outside reality is secondary. That's the secondary ring of the source frequency lens, which is above your head. And so this whole energetic system, it is all intertwined. It all works together. Each and every one of the chakra systems, when you unlock and open the perception of each chakra, it'll grant you access into every single emotion code that you have ever held while in the perception of that individual chakra subsystem. And so let's break that down. Let's say, for an example, you have an imbalance in the root chakra. The root chakra is very physically focused. So anything pertaining to your house, your car, what you're going to eat, shelter needs, this could also be considered medications, they're saying. And so all these different things are things that you need to survive in the physical reality. And so when you have an imbalance in the root chakra, one of those things, the perception is going to be off, or it may have a distortion. When there is a distortion present, you may notice a physical body sign or synchronicity, maybe in the lower back. And so that one is usually associated with the root chakra. And so you may notice that maybe your car keeps dying, maybe the engine light keeps going on. And so the signs and synchronicities you want to pay attention to. Now, each individual has a thought grid and we have an emotion grid. Your thought grid, it comes up in the brain. It's in the pineal gland. And so it's energetic. It's a thought grid. And so there's one in the heart. That one is hexagonal in nature. It is blue and it is connected into the heart chakra. And so when you put those both together, this one, the thought grid is yellow and blue, it makes green. That's your memory grid, because your memory grid is a combination of all the thoughts and all the emotions from your entire life, as well as your past lives and future lives. And so what the star people say is you want to have a look into the grids. While you were doing the meditation, you were looking inside your physical form, you feel for any aches and pains, tightnesses, or tension. And so a lot of times the chiropractors, they can feel people's backs and they can feel muscle knots. Now, I want you just to imagine that you have a light body. You are a light body soul underneath your physical form. If there's an imbalance in a piece of that light body, it's going to tension the muscle and it's going to form a distortion, which could be a knot. It could be a disease. It could be poison ivy. Even though you may have to step onto the plant to get that, it is still allowed to manifest because there was a blockage or distortion in the energetic grid structures, they are saying. And so, yeah, just be aware. Energetic clearings was something that they wanted me to dive into with you guys today. And so this is crazy. I normally do these things alone, but I'm going to show you how to do them because today's the day. Why not? And so what they have me do is I start by visualizing the person. And so you can visualize yourself. You can visualize another person. Then I take my hands from the center position. You can even clap 3 times or rub them just to get the energy moving. My energy feels like tingles and heat. And so in my mind, I know it's electrical and magnetic. So, and then what I do is I cast it at the person that I'm doing the energy clearing on. So right now, I'm just going to set an intention that my energy casts positive and love to each and every person watching the video throughout time and space. So it has the same effect on each and every one of you guys. And so I just cast love and light to you. You can even do the triangle. I do the triangle a lot because they told me that the heart chakra spins out a vortex of energetics, which is circular in nature. And so the triangle shape, it's like a pyramid, which is pyramid. Pyro means fire. Amid means inside. And so pyramid means fire inside. And so when you do this, you are casting your fire at the other person. Your fire is your chi energetics. And so if you had a look at the masculine energetics in the right side of the form, it's a chi energetics, which is electrical in nature, which is tuned into the fire elementals. So all of these things are connected. This is science. This is not hocus pocus. This is science. We can see this scientifically. And so, yeah, science. So, yeah, you just do this, right? And then you imagine a vortex energetic coming from your heart and blasting at the people and just say many love and blessings. Now, they normally have me do this too. I go up and I go down, and then I come around in a circle, and then I go up and I go down. And when I see that, I'm seeing the magnet because each person is like a magnet. You have a positive polarity and then you have a negative one under your feet. And so what you want to do is you want to pull. One is electrical, one is magnetic energy. And so you are pulling these up and then you are spiraling them around the entire energetic grids. And then you're pulling them down. And then what I do is they have me make a square with my fingers. And so now I go in and I look through the square and I see into each chakra system. So let's take the root chakra, right? I make the square, I see the root chakra, and now I pull it apart. And I pull apart the entire grid of the root chakra. And now, of course, you have to use your creativity. Some people are not going to be able to see. I can see, I can sense the grids. Some people can't see, so they may feel. And they may feel density. It may feel like the difference in density is basically like you're walking on air or you're walking through water. And so that's density is a different level of motion that we have. It's like thicker, right? And so you can feel if the grid has density, then you can send it love and light and you can release the density. If there is a highly emotional charged blockage, then sometimes you have to pull it off the grid. And so a lot of times I'll actually call in the angels. And so I'll ask the angels to help remove it. And if that doesn't work, I'll call upon their higher self. And so their higher self, when I call upon the higher self may even tell me, no, there's a life lesson to be learned. That density needs to stay there. But then I can ask them if they can make it a little easier for the person. And they'll usually say yes. It depends on the situation. But that's how I do. I go through every single system. I open up each and every grid. Inside each and every chakra, it's round, it's like a vortex. There's actually a source frequency lens, which is like your eye, except it's energetic in nature. And so I take a look at that lens, right? and I wipe it clean. A lot of times I see black marks on the lens. A lot of times there'll be a line on the lens. And so sometimes there's a big black dot, which is blocking half of the light from coming out of the chakra. So all of these things you can see with the conscious mind. It was interesting. I just did a session with a lady and she had what looked like an X, but it was like that. And it was energetic and it was moving, right? So all of these different things mean different things. And it's the process of learning and keep doing it, repetition. And then all of a sudden you unpack it and you're like, okay, I know what this is, right? And then you make a list. Okay, I've seen this before, so I know exactly how to heal it. That's actually what each and every one of us do. And so when you walk your darkness, you learn from that, and then you know how to help heal other people through that process. And so that's part of the dark empath abilities. That's what they call it. Some people don't like that word, but it just means that you walk through your own individual pain and suffering. You learned your own emotion coding to do with that pain and suffering. And then you have the opportunity to help other people to overcome that pain and suffering. That's a natural part of being human, because you'll see a lot of people when they get hurt, they tend to pick up a torch and go help a ton of people. And so, yeah, that's happened. Thank you. I'm just a stay-at-home mom. Thank you. Thank you for calling me cool. Okay, any questions? We have to ask permission to cast an energy on someone. Okay, so do you have to ask someone permission to love them? No. And that's where I stand. And so you can cast your love and light at any person in this world. They have the opportunity to either accept it or not accept it. And when they don't accept it, that's okay too. They have that right. And so some people, if you've ever seen people who want to be angry or life has just damaged them and they're very angry people and it's like Scrooge, right? But what the hell did you do to Scrooge when he was a child? Because whatever you did to him when he was a child, it damaged him psychologically as an adult. And so that's when the shadow work is needed. Each and every one of us had a potential of holding on to our traumas and allowing that anger and rage to fill us. But many starseeds, we came here with star people knowing that they were going to push all of our buttons to get us to release and forgive and be happy and heal ourselves, right? And so when we start healing ourselves, it allows us to shine more light onto the entire universe and just share it with every single person. Because the change in the civilization, it has to come from inside of each and every one of us. So when you believe that by you doing something kind for someone, they are going to turn around one day. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years from now. And they're going to be like, somebody helped me when I was down, so I'm going to help someone else. And actually, that situation just happened to me. 3 years ago, I went through a life-changing it was a big life-changing event. And so for a while, it was so much fun though. But for a while, we were sleeping in the car, doing Uber during the day, running around, going to the beach every day, meditation, yoga, all this fun stuff. And so, but now I finally had the chance to pay it back to someone who's going through a similar situation. And so anybody who actually wants to donate, there is a family in need. There's a small child in play too. And so I'm going to put his PayPal up. His name is Jacob. So you guys can go to the Danielle Lipton Facebook profile and you guys can just donate to him. This way he can get an apartment and housing going for him and his child. So yeah, that would be really, really generous, and many love and blessings. Anybody who donates over $100 to him, that's what I gave him. If you donate $100 or more, I will gift you a free session. And so there's some fire for it. Like, let's get this done so he's got somewhere to go. There's a child that's 10 months old. So yeah, many love and blessings. And thank you, Star people, for helping Jacob and his family. Okay, so energetic clearings and how to do it. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. No. Okay, let me take a sip. This is my fruit punch. Okay. Excellent. So we have chakra points and crystal alignments to super heal the physical form. And the star people said that they will guide each and every one of you to do this. So when I was going through my healing, I had a blue stone sodalite around my neck. And so I had a ruby, which was like an Indian ring from Amazon. It was $20. It wasn't like expensive. That one I had on my right finger. And so I had a gold one on my left, and I had some type of healing bracelet. And so it was funny because all of these crystals just came to me and I put them in the alignment. And then I was watching a YouTube or a video, and then all of a sudden the man was talking about crystals, and he was saying, Oh yeah. Well, if you put them in this alignment, it super heals the individual very rapidly. And I was like, those were the exact same crystals that I was wearing in the exact locations. And it was also gold. You had to wear gold, a ring around one finger. And so, yeah. Can I read this now? Yes, I can see you. Hi, Jerry. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. Yeah, Jacob, he's on Instagram. Excellent. Welcome, guys. So the crystals, when you use certain chakras and meridians and ley line points, it will actually allow you to supercharge your body and rapidly heal. And so many times, like I know with me, you can read a crystal Bible, but what you're doing is you're researching each and every crystal. And so that's wonderful to know the properties of each crystal. But I've yet to see a book that, I'm sure there has to be a book out there, but I've yet to see a book which tells you, hey, if you have this disease, use this exact placement of the crystals and it's going to rapidly heal your body. So it's all different frequencies and it's connected into the energetic grid structures. So imagine, for an example, we'll do diabetes. Imagine that diabetes made 4 or 5 different energetic grid blockages in multiple chakra systems, right? And so they're saying that actually happens because you're dealing with the blood system, you're dealing with a bunch of other systems because it's making you tired, right? And so the solar plexus comes into play because that's where you're pulling in your energy. But if all your energy is being pulled in, it's going somewhere else to fight off the sugar, right? So it's a disruption of multiple systems, is what the star people are saying. And so when you know it's a disruption of systems, then we know that multiple systems are affected and multiple systems need a crystal to generate the healing. And so when you start to learn the patterns and you figure out which placements on the body to put the crystal, they're saying it's not only on the body, it's in the space around the body, because your energetic grids go 6 feet out. And so that's your primary aura field. It goes very wide. You can actually make it really wide through the conscious focus and intention. And so certain placements on the exterior side of the body, you can also use crystals for. Like, let's say you took the crystal and you waved it in your aura field, right? And so these are great. These are part of the crystal package that we have on the Danielle Lipton website. And so this is one of the mystery gifts, but it has like all the different colored crystals. So you can wave it and you can cover your entire energetic grids, right? And it's really, really important. If you have like, I know purple is great. So we have amethyst, crystal point, but these are great because you can actually tune into the source frequency lens. So anything purple or indigo, ultraviolet, like let's say you had a UV light, you can actually take the UV light, you could shine it up there and it'll start to make cohesion in the energetic grids. And so, yeah, it's really, really important to learn your tools because there's many different tools. Crystal chips as well can be used in different manifestation jars. And so sometimes, let's say for an example, you may really, really want to manifest something. And so sometimes you're able to take a glass jar, right? And so you're able to layer different materials. So we know about organite. Organite is inorganic material layered with organic material, layer, and then there's a quartz crystal and a copper spiral. Now what that's doing is it's shifting the energetic frequency of around that organite. So I have a piece right here, and I use this anytime I don't feel good. I wouldn't use it all the time because I did notice that it clears the emotion grids very, very fast. And so if you constantly are clearing your emotion grids using a tool, you're not learning how to properly balance your emotions. And so this thing was protecting me because it was protecting my emotions in a positive, but it wasn't allowing me to handle the negative emotions that need to be handled, because that's part of your shadow work. When you handle the negative emotions, then all of a sudden it allows you to heal them and release them. However, if you have something on you that's making you not feel the emotion codes of those negativity because it's making you more positively aligned, this really happens. I swear to God, it really happens. I know it sounds crazy, but this stuff is real and it happens. I know because I spent 2 years, 3 years with this around my neck saying, thank you for protecting me. And it was protecting me against pain. But we have to learn to be our own piece of organite because our biologics, we are frequency generators. And so knowing that, then that means that we should be able to transmutate any darkness. Now, this is the main reason that the starseeds are even on the planet, is because we have an attunement to light. And so we want to heal people. We want to heal the world. We want to live in peace. We want to live in harmony. We want to be able to share and have experiences where everybody has everything that they need so that we can focus on what makes us happy. That's the way that we're supposed to be living. That is not how the civilization reflects right now, which is okay. It just means that we're here for a mission to show people and lead by example. And so when you really have that type of mentality, it makes it very, very easy to do good things for other people, because all of a sudden it's not about me. It's about how much good can I do for those people around me. And it doesn't mean your family and friends. It means all people around you, right? And so when you start to see each and every person around you as a direct reflection of your energetics, they are mirroring an experience that you personally need to have in order to evolve. And so when you start to see that, that means that the conversations at the 7-Eleven, I had a conversation with the nice old man. He was a vet, right? And so I had told him, the solar flash is coming. We're all going to evolve. Everything is going to be all up at night. You guys can just imagine. I sat there for like 30 minutes with him. And he was like 75. He looked at me and he was like, "You're amazing. And thank you so much for the information. I knew something was coming." And then he handed me a bullet keychain, like a little bullet on a keychain. It was just amazing. But even still, just taking the time to have a discussion with people, like we're missing that. People don't really do that anymore. And I've noticed, like, walking around with headphones on in the supermarkets, like you're not having the engagements. You're not talking to people. You're going to the self-checkout. People aren't as nice and interactive as they need to be. And so when you start to be the one to smile and nod and help people, if you see a little old lady who needs cases of water, do it for her, right? Because it's good. You should be a good human. And so that's it. That's how I try and live. I do everything. And so if people need help, I teach my kids that too. Don't be racist. Everyone is one. We are all connected. Everything is connected. So even with the whales and the dolphins. And not only that, but let's even talk about the extraterrestrials, right? So here on planet Earth, we have one skin tone. We have brown, right? And so some people are tan or more lighter tan, but still tan. And then we have brown. And so, but what happens when we are around green people, yellow people, purple people, right? So that whole racism thing, it's a distortion. And the second that you overcome it, it's not true, it's fake, it's fiction. Like we could take the DNA and the genetics, actually. The genetics are the difference between the genetics between a human person and let's take a dolphin. You have all of these codons, right? Which are the coding that each species can either turn on or turn off. But the way the DNA actually works is all of these codes, we all have all these codes. So the dolphins, they have the same exact codes as us, right? But the only difference is some of theirs are turned on. That makes them look like a dolphin. And so science is figuring out, and they already know this, but Elon Musk made a comment too. He's like, we could take the genetics of a human being and we could turn them into a butterfly. So how are they doing that? They're doing that by changing and modifying the codes inside the DNA, which is activating or turning off different expressions of the physical reality. And so your junk DNA is your crystalline DNA. It's connected into the extrasensory abilities that have been shut off. Now, the pineal gland is ever so big. It's in the center of your brain. Once upon a time, centuries ago, it was very big. And so when that was bigger, we can get back there. We most certainly can. By activating different codes inside the genetics, we can make it bigger. And so you really have to place your mind, your focus. Now, I had a session with the lady, and she started bending spoons because the star people told her to bend spoons. Now, all of a sudden, she's done like 4 or 5 of them, right? And so if she's able to take a physical item and bend it, we are able to shapeshift the physical form. And so that comes with going inside. You have to close your eyes. You have to go inside because that's where your DNA is. Your DNA, your codons, all this information, genetically speaking, it's inside your physical form. So if you want to access it, you have to close your eyes, remove the external hologram, go inside and make the changes to your programming systems. You're giving a commandment to your body. And so when you do that, you have to access the subconscious mind because the subconscious mind is the area that says, okay, this is what we believe. Boom, this is what we're going to manifest. We are each in a holographic simulation. And so that basically means that every single thing that you see, every person that you see, it's a light. It is a light wave. The atoms and molecules are under a state of frequency. It's moving. It seems solid because of the density range of the item. However, it is fluidity. And so it's ever changing, it's ever shifting. This is how many people may have noticed that they may have had an item like a necklace or an earring. And so that earring could have disappeared. And then all of a sudden, years later, it just showed up. It was just right in the middle of the floor. And so I've had that experience before. And, you know, the point of the matter is that we don't think that any item is conscious, but it's a light wave. And so if this pen chooses to exit my reality, there's nothing that I can do. However, that frequency is coming from inside of me, which is what allows that pen to leave. And so we don't see things like that. We don't even stop to ponder that that's what's actually happening, but that's actually what's happening. And so this is a part of instantaneous manifestation, because to some degree, now you're taking every single item that you're experiencing and interacting with, and you send it love and light, and you thank it for being around, and you tell it it's okay if you ever want to leave. Right now, how many people have gone somewhere and we've let someone use our pen and it's gone? It's just gone, right? And so that's because the pen chose to leave. And I know it sounds totally woo-woo, but it's real. This is how it works. And so just think about it too, because there are some lower vibrational attachments that star people are saying that can actually trigger your brain waves. And so your brain waves is part of the control system to the subconscious mind. So if they're able to trigger our brain waves, that means that they have some potential control over what we are thinking. Certain frequencies can do this as well. The TV, they use binaural beats, which is a click, clock, click, clock, click, clock, and it makes us think differently, and it activates different areas of the brainwave patterning. And so that's one way the television is using subliminal messages. Now imagine that there's an entity or a being that has technology as well, and we just can't see them because they're cloaked. We've all heard about cloaking technology on every single space technology movie that we've ever seen. They can cloak. The United States government, the Army, has a Harry Potter cloak in which they throw this blanket over them, and it reflects the light from the first of the blanket, and it goes all the way around the back. And so it makes the person look invisible. This is real technology. This is out. Go research it. And so when you know this, then all of a sudden they only have to take this technology and put it on an aircraft. You know how many UFOs are right above our head and we're just unaware? Billions. Because they're all looking at us like, are they going to evolve? Right? Let's see if we can help the starseeds today. How can we help them? Can they release their shadow work, right? Can we nudge them along so that they can get their healing done, and then they can shine their light and they can make a difference in the world? This is what the extraterrestrials are doing for us. That does not mean every extraterrestrial race is positive. However, even the negative ones, it's an experience that we needed to have in order for us to evolve. So what we do is we send them love and light and thank them for the experience. Now, the star people are coming forward and saying, that's great, but you do not want to spiritually bypass. And so what that means is, if you have gone through an emotional trauma and something really bad has happened to you, right? And so I caught myself doing this at one point where I was like, thank you for the experience. It's taught me X, Y, and Z, but the emotions were still encoded in my biological form. And the star people said, you have to stop saying that for a second because we want you to deal with the emotions. Right. And so in that case, you would bring the memory up to the conscious mind. And how does it make you feel? And how does it make you feel is one of the most important phrases that the star people have taught me, because how does it make you feel emotionally? How does it make you feel mentally? How does it make your physical body feel? And how does the word that you are speaking have an impact on your environment? How does it make your bedroom feel? Right? When you are speaking love and care and kind words, the air will shift. When the air shifts, it feels lighter to be in the room. When somebody screams and yells in the room, the air feels a little bit more dense. And so even the air is an elemental. Our voice, our consciousness has an effect on the air element. We have an effect on all of the elements. So inside the physical form, to the top, the front, this is the air element, right? Well, you have earth. Earth is to the left. Right? So earth is magnetic in its nature. It is connected into the feminine energetics, which is on the left-hand side. And then you have air is in the front. That is connected in with the ether, because we also pull ether in with the air. That is part of the energetic that gets pulled in with the oxygen. And so earth, air, fire is to the right. That's your chi energetic. It is electrical in nature. When electricity, say a lightning bolt strikes a tree, it generates a fire. And so that is your fire element. And the rear of you is the water element. The water element represents the spinal cord fluid. Now, when you utilize the air, the breath of life, it actually has an effect on the spinal cord fluid. And it's 444 synchronicity. I just want to throw that out there. Okay, so the air actually has an effect on the water element. So when you utilize different breathwork techniques, you can actually pull that spinal cord fluid up the spine. And so it will tap into the pineal gland. And when it does that, it opens the flower of the pineal gland, which then in turn allows you to see into the astral realities. And so that's really important too, because that's going to give you the opportunity to access your astral realm. Your guides are there. Spirit guides are there. Not only that, each of us has a little plot of land in the astral form. That was your time of conception. And so when we had that time of conception, our light was shined at that moment. That exact location code is where we belong in the astral realm, taken care of. It's kind of like this is your space in the astral realm. And so we're supposed to go give it love and light and bless it. And really, you call it your own. That is like your home in the astral. So this is Native Indians, I believe, used to do this as well. The shamans, they knew about this. They were like, this is where you're conceived. This is where, you know, the exact moment. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Am I able to shapeshift? I actually listened to a type of, it was on YouTube. It was like, change your eye color, right? And so I wanted my eyes to be green. My eyes were mud brown. And my eyes started to lighten up. And then a ring of green started to form around the exterior. So it kind of looks like a spiral now. So yeah, that is shapeshifting though, because everyone's eyes are very, very bright. And then the pigment, the brown pigment actually goes over that eye color. And so with the conscious mind, we can start to scrape away that eye color, allowing the bluer pigments to shine through. So that's how the physical form works. Now, also shape-shifting, you have to realize what is shape-shifting. It is a modification to the human form. So the star people are stepping forward saying, if you've ever healed an injury, let's say you had a cut on your finger, your cut healed, that's shape-shifting because it's a change in the energetic flow of the cells inside the physical form. And so your subconscious mind is commanding the healing to manifest. We just do this automatically. We just don't realize what it is. But if we actually took hold, we could start to make changes and modifications. So they're showing me gray hair. And so that's one that can you can shapeshift your gray hair, right? Sometimes people, they'll start changing their behavior patterns and they'll become happier and they'll start to look like they anti-aged. That's part of the shape-shifting ability. That's the level 1. Most of us are going to unlock that ability first. And now I was a cripple for 12 years. In about 2.5 weeks, I raised my frequency and all my pain left. But meanwhile, I was a cripple for 12 years. It was hard. It was rough. And so if I have the ability to heal my pain, right? Anybody can. And you have to make lifestyle changes. You have to change your location. That's really important. Change what you're eating, start meditating. This is all the things that I did. Everyone is going to have their own unique path. And so these are only things that you can try and do and see what works for you as a person. Because you have to realize, we'll go back to the codons of the DNA. You guys, your codons are all different than mine. And so your genetics are different than me. And so what works for me may not work for every single person. But this is the beautiful thing about the reality that we are in, because each person is a perception of the source frequency lens. And so each person is a puzzle piece to the entire picture. So we are all meant and designed to have our own path in which this works for me. It might not work for you because this is my perception. These are my belief systems. And this is how, I manifest differently than you according to how I'm vibrationally in alignment or magnetizing that type of healing. Right? So everyone can take a sugar pill. Half the people are going to get healed from it. It's all what you believe, right? That's how that works. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you guys so much for coming. Welcome, Jacqueline. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Jerry. How are you? Yes. Okay. So let's see. Okay. This was another one because we had the Amazonite tree. These are for the crystal healing package. So they wanted me to actually discuss the benefits of having a tree inside the house because I thought it was just a cute little crystal tree. And they're like, do you even know what that does? And I was like, no. And they're like, it's a tree. And so there's something that connects us to seeing. They're telling me the visual representation of actually seeing a tree, or they're even saying a house plant. Even the house plants, you're bringing some of Mother Earth into the inside. Even though this is only a crystal, this is a crystal tree, right? It's still in the shape of a tree, and the crystal is connected into Mother Earth. And so when they say that when you have one of those, let's say you put it by your bedside, you're actually allowing the subconscious mind to make a deeper connection into Mother Earth. Now, that's very important because Mother Earth has all sorts of crystals inside of her. A lot of you guys are probably going to notice that you have magnetic abilities. And so the ability to change, modify, or move magnets is what I'm talking about in specific. So like Magneto from the X-Men, right? He could pick up magnets and stuff. Well, inside the earth, we have a bunch of magnets. Inside your brain, you have magnetite and hematite crystals that allows you to sense magnetic grids. So north, south, east, west, that's a magnetic grid. This is how our compasses work. They work using magnets. However, the pole is shifting. And so because the pole is shifting, we can see this scientifically. That means that the magnetic sphere is kind of going through like a rotation of sorts. And so this is a natural process of evolution. A lot of people are going to be waking up to the magnetic ability, and they will make changes to the magnetic grids, which will restabilize the electrical grid structures, they are saying. So yeah, I love you guys too. Thank you for coming. Belief systems actually don't exist, but we can have them, which is encouraging for us to love. Yeah, I mean, that's a perception, right? And so the perception in belief systems is, once again, that is our individual perception. However, when they go and they do hypnosis on you and they're like, now you believe that you can stand on the back of a chair, they've actually programmed people into their subconscious mind, and the people are actually able to stand on the back of a chair and the chair doesn't topple over and they don't fall. And so one hypnosis guy, he was even able to put a pocket watch in the back of his daughter's back. And so the hypnosis put a pocket watch in the back of the daughter's back. And then the father was unable to see her because he was, hypnotically programmed to not be able to see her. And he was able to read the watch. So we're living in a giant holographic simulation. And so, yeah. Oh, I love your videos, but you give so much information so quickly. Still not sure what I need to do about my energetic clearing. So it's actually a blessing because the star people have told me, because I asked them too, why you guys, it's like a download dump, right? It's so much information and it's like whoosh. And I'm like, why does it come this way? And they're like, because it's part of my ability. So my ability is, it's a form of light linguistics. So it allows the frequency to come out of me during the channeling, which then in turn allows the information to get super programmed into your genetics as well as your subconscious mind. And so you may notice that sometimes when you listen to me when I talk, a lot of times, like I'll see people like blank out a little bit. And so that's why you start bringing in your positive affirmations, right? Like love each other. Today I am glowing. And so you try and do positive affirmations. I am healthy. I am happy. I am strong. I have willpower, right? I can make significant changes to my life anytime I see fit. You start programming all these things in when you have this type of ability, and it starts to allow people to heal, right? And so each and every one of you guys, you can activate your DNA. You can activate your crystalline DNA strands, and you can activate extrasensory abilities, which then in turn is going to give you abilities like moving magnets. And so moving magnets, that ability, you want to start by having a magnet maybe on a string and trying to spin it. And so you just project your energetic at it, or you can just pull it. They're showing me that you pull it. Now, there's other technologies that can also be utilized with magnets. And so they had actually shown me a free energy device. And so we take a windmill. The windmill spins around, and it allows a generator to generate electricity. Well, what if we had two windmills and all of the little things interacted like this, and then the magnets, we put magnets on each one of these little things, and it generated the whoosh, right? This is actually how anti-gravity devices work as well, because you have one windmill doing this, then you have a second one next to it doing it opposite. And then you take that whole unit and you spin it around. What you're actually generating is kind of like the Earth's magnetic energetic grid structure, which then in turn generates a rainbow ball of light and starts anti-gravity. So yeah, it's amazing. Dun, dun, dun. The holographic universe, is it a universal that includes aliens, or do they have their own we're all in one holographic universe. And so it's kind of like this. It's a frequency. And so my physical reality, this is all a frequency wave that is allowing the particles and the waves to all coexist, which is electrical and magnetic in nature. And so all of that is encoded. When you start to do the shadow work and to shen, shedding is when you're following your highest passion and you're really in a state of joy, excitement, and bliss. When you start to allow your light to shine brighter, you actually start to raise your frequency, which then in turn takes you from the 3D reality and it allows you to experience above the 3D reality. That's 4D. And then all of a sudden, because you come and go from 4D. We're doing this right now. The civilization is even doing this right now. We're coming and going from 4D. In time, it's going to go pop, and we're going to be up to 5D. When we're in 5D, we completely have control over time and space as we see it. So you can wake up in the morning and you can perceive your time and space any way that you see fit. And then not only that, but unity consciousness becomes activated as well. And so unity consciousness basically means that there's an intuition that washes across the people, that basically they feel the connection. So if I'm talking to you, I am feeling like I'm talking to myself to some degree. There is still a degree of separation in 5D. So, but it's unity consciousness. This is how telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation, all these things become real. And so a lot of species, they use it with technological means to access 5D, or they can use spiritual means. And so most planets have both. And not all of them. They're saying most planets have both. Some planets do only spiritual, and some are technological. Like the gray aliens, for an example, they, in their timeline, because they time travel back to our reality, they utilized technology. And so the technology went horribly wrong for them. Genetics is also technology. You need to have technology like a scientific laboratory in order to tamper with the genetics of species. When the species learns to go inside themselves and become their own DNA laboratory, then they can make changes to their biological form. And so this is an advanced form of frequency generation, they are saying. Yeah, excellent. So I am just going to really quickly go over a couple things that we are running on the Danielle Lipton website and the Tree of Life organization. Yeah. Okay. So we are now offering a crystal package. And so the crystal package I started because I wanted to share my crystals with all of you guys who follow me. And so it would be nice for you guys to have something that was mine. I'm also sitting there with the Star people, and we're programming DNA activations for the crystalline DNA into each and every single crystal that comes across my desk. And so that's really going to allow you to super heal, activate any extrasensory abilities that you have. Now, the demand on this was so high, so we started offering just a crystal package, but now people want to do it as a Christmas gift. And so we just put a sale up on the DanielleLipton.com website so that you can order a session with the crystal package and give it to somebody for Christmas. And so that's now up. And so anyone who orders from there, yeah, just go to DanielleLipton.com, go to the products page. Also on DanielleLipton.com, there's a little message box so you guys can send me a direct message. It comes right to my phone. I have a special app. So if anyone has any questions on any spirituality topics, just send them through DanielleLipton.com, and then I'll answer them on the next live. And yeah, so that's what's good. The sessions in general too, we are offering a $99 discount because it's Black Friday week. And so now's a great time to get them. People have been stocking up. So you don't have to book a time. You could just book it, and you could wait until you're comfortable and ready to actually book the time. So, but at least you already have it paid for before the prices go up after Black Friday. And so, yeah, thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, and following. We do also have an email subscription list. That's at DanielleLipton.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom. There's also a donation link. So anyone who wants to really support my cause of really sending all this information to the entire public, because that's what I do full time. And so I like to talk to people, and I like to explain things to them. And I'm in the process of writing a book. So this way, you know, I'm trying to put all of my posts. Now, my posts, to me, I think that they're all amazing because I read them and I'm like, I can't believe I wrote that. And so, but all the posts, I want to take them and put them into a book. This way you guys can have something physical, you know, in case the electricity ever goes out, you'll have something to actually hold in your hands. And so something that I put the love into. And so that's coming, but it's all the posts that are on my Facebook. So there's over 500 posts on different topics. that you guys can dive into the topic and it's like, oh my goodness, this is the exact answer. This is what I've been going through. And so I hear that over and over again. So it's always good to keep rereading them. And so we always grasp a new level of consciousness every time you reread them. It's kind of like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And so when you read it at a lower level consciousness, you're gaining all the information. But then let's say you stop and you reread it 3 years later, you're like, wow, you're pulling all new concepts and ideas. It's a binary codex is what the star people are saying. That's how the posts are written. And so, yeah, it's amazing. And then on Facebook, I also have Star People group. And so that's a group. So if my Facebook page ever gets censored, I can still post out into Star People group. So thank you guys for liking, watching, sharing. Go to Danielle Lipton and send me your questions, and then I'll cover them on the next live. And many, many love and blessings. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great night. Happy Thanksgiving, too, by the way. So happy Turkey Day. I stopped eating meat. I did because, they killed my chicken. They made soup. It was a horrible experience. But we have a turkey for the kids. And so I'm going to be trying to cook it. I should make a video on that. It should be very interesting. And so, yeah, happy Thanksgiving. And be very safe and many love and blessings during your shopping. Be careful, safe. Don't get trampled at Walmart. Love and light, and love you guys. Be safe and happy holidays.